and Forex. All right, so you've gone through understanding the power, how the breaks are happening together with the breaches at the same time. Normally, you can have a breach, but it can be intraday inside one session. And those breaches, like for example, something like this, I don't count them as so valuable. Let me draw it actually. This area, okay, not so valuable as it would be if it breaks a session. Okay? If it breaks a session as well, so the breach plus power, you have now intensified the power of there is a big boy behind this. Okay? You have intensified it. Okay? So you want to do that. If you want to be a trader in the beginning that's just looking to get a break into trading and doing well so you can actually do this full time, then you want to stack up the odds in your favor as much as you can so you don't deal with anything that is a maybe. Okay? You want to avoid all the maybe type trades and go more for, I'm pretty certain this is how it's going to work. And stick to those trades in the beginning until you get better and better and better. And then you can start working on the maybe trades until you can fine tune those as well. Okay? All right, so in this particular case, how do you pick a best pair? So let's say yesterday a news came out for Euro and it was shockingly bad. Okay, a news came out for Euro and it was bad news. Okay, all right, so here we go. Let me say bad news, and according to your economic calendars and everything, you're like, okay, well, it's bad news, but the markets really didn't do anything. Let's say the news came out right here. Okay, but the markets really didn't do anything. It was really bad news, but the market's just been hanging around there. So we're like, okay, well, maybe New York doesn't want to do anything about it. London might want to do something about it the next day again. So we're going to see if it comes back into action going forward. So a couple of things. If you have Euro USD, okay, now in this particular case, Euro USD and Euro USD from the low of New York here, you can see the high of New York was up here because 1800, this is where New York opens. So once New York opened, that was the highest point. Once New York opened until the close, this was the lowest point. So if I extend this out, you will see that Asia couldn't do anything to the highs, but to the lows, Asia couldn't do anything either. Well, they do slightly breach it here. Okay, now we are sitting into London opens right here. So Asia takes it out a little bit. London pulls back a little bit more, and then it takes it down. So we have power here. Power has activated. Okay, power has activated. It's very small though. The bigger the better, but it's very small. The power has activated going into London, which means in London, you and I need to prepare for Euro weakness. Okay, because the power is in the same direction as well. However, if all the Euros are doing that, okay, so Euro USD power to the sell side, Euro Swiss franc power to the sell side. Okay, let me just write two of them down. Okay, so all of these are showing you there's powers coming in before you sit down to trade for London. Let's say you're sitting in London or in that time zone and you want to trade London and you're like, whoa, look at that, Asia gave me some power. And I have Euro bad news. This is great. I can put 2 and 2 together, and the odds of this trade performing well is going to be awesome. However, when you look at your economic calendar and you see US dollar is also bad news, it's weak. So now you're in a dilemma. You're like, wait a minute. I can't trade Euro USD for a sell side because if I sell this chart, that means Euro is weak. That is okay. I can trade Euro weak because I have Euro bad. But if I sell this chart, it means US dollar is strong. That doesn't go with this. That means this trade is less likely to be a runner. Okay? Remember, the objective for you is when you lose money, you lose a little bit. But when you gain money, you should be able to hold that trade until it keeps paying you and paying you and paying you. But to do that, you don't wait for luck to help you push it. You do the research ahead of time, so when you enter the trade, you are expecting a push. Does that make sense? All right, I hope a lot of you guys are having aha moments right now. You want to pile this up together. Okay, you want to pile this up together. So now at this point, you're like, okay, I can't do Euro USD. But now Swiss franc had good news, and it's been good news for the last 3 days. No other news has come up. Swiss franc was strong. We're like, okay, for a sell on Euro Swiss franc, we have power. Check. Okay, on that chart we had power. Asia broke New York. Blah blah blah. We had that breach power, and then Euro is weak. Great, and Swiss franc is running strong for the last 3 days. It's not fresh news, but it's old news that's been quite strong. It's one of the top 5 things out there. So that most likely is going to be, if you can get a trade in there, that is going to be your runner where you're going to be able to make the smoothest, the most, and the fastest amount of money. Okay? Isn't that better when you're actually taking a trade and that trade just performs like a hot knife in butter? It just smoothly goes in your favor. Like, isn't it nice to be on trades like this where it just smoothly operates down? Okay? This is the type of things I want you to understand, and not enter trades like this where you're trying to do a sell here and it goes chop, 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 and then it goes down. That's too messy. You don't want to be stuck into that. Okay? Neither into trades like this that just drag and drag and drag and drag and drag, because the opposite party is holding you back, like US dollar in this case. Okay? So you want to stack up these odds in your favor. So what do you need? Start from the top. You want your power to be, okay? You want your power to be there, okay? Once you determine which direction is the power for a sell or a buy, then you want to match them. So in this case, the power was to the sell side, right? This was the low of New York. And Asia, before London opened here, Asia took it out. Asia took out that low, okay? That's great. It's not only a low of New York, it's the low of the entire day of yesterday. So that makes it even more promising, right? So it's not just a single break, it's a multiple thing break. All right, so it's the power is saying sell side. Then you need to check your economics. Okay? Remember, you're not supposed to be an economic guru. You just need to know how you interpreted that calendar to understand, do you have the markets in your favor as well? Fundamentally speaking, are people afraid or happy with that currency? Are they dumping it or are they buying more of it? Having that fundamental background can help you get that additional push, because you know the big boys are looking to do that push as well. Okay? And that is how you pick the right pair. Now, going forward into the upcoming weeks, I'm going to be showing you some of my trades that I come along for these cheese trades, so you can see that I've picked a pair based on these concepts, everything you've learned about now, and that trade is going to be dissected week after week, just like you're seeing on week 1, you learned certain things. On, let's say last week you learned buyers and sellers. That trade will be broken down into every piece that week and what it means for each piece of that week. Okay? So how does the buyers and sellers apply to that trade I've personally taken on my live account? How does the power from week 4, your knowledge of week 4, apply to that trade? So you will see my trade that I do dissected into all these pieces that you're learning, so you know that everything that I'm doing live on my trades, you can understand everything from the start all the way till the end with no guesswork in between. Or maybe that's Naveen, he's just a professional and I will never get to that point. That's not the goal here. The goal here is for me to be able to replicate that performance into you, so you can take these cheese trades and do just as well. You've seen a lot of my Instagram stories, right, where I have students coming into coming into Dubai, all the way from different parts of the world, and we're trading 4 figures, 5 figures per day, right? I want to do the same for you here. So I want you to focus as much as you can. Going forward from this week, it's only going to get stronger, better, and give you more aha moments. So buckle down, practice week after week, day after day when these examples come out, and I want you to look forward to next week. I'll see you next week. Cheers.